Hello and welcome back to part 6 video on a rapid deep dive on Docker. This is Docker configuration. So before getting to this module, we are going to update Docker on Ubuntu version, and then we are going to give a normal user to Docker full control, and then we are going to configure Docker to communicate over the network, and then subsequently we are going to create an container and we are going to play around with it, and then wrapping up this module. Please make a note, this is very important module, is because in this module only we are going to convert the existing normal instance of your Ubuntu towards Docker. So this is very important. So the first thing we are going to update your the current Docker to the updated version, right? So in order to proceed further, actually there are two major things you'll have to do it. First, number one, you got to add Docker repo key to the local apt key chain. This is very important. And then subsequently we are going to add Docker apt sources to the local one. So these are the two important things. Then only when you execute Docker update command, then it will go and check that repo and then get the latest version for us. So these are the two important commands. Just make a note. And so I'm opening on to our Ubuntu box, and this is our box, and then the command is a little bit a lengthy one, so I just copied it on the notepad. So we are going to use the same thing, the notepad command. So this is the command. Where is my machine? Okay, the machine is here, right? So now we are going to execute before that, let us check the Docker version, Docker -v, and let us make a note of this version. The current version is 1.6.2. okay, so we'll updated version, we are going to see it in few minutes, right? And then say the first command is wget https and then yum.dockerproject.org/gpg. Done. And then I'm going to use sudo apt key add gpg. Added successfully. So now we are going to apt sources. This is very important. So echo, I think I already executed this. Let us check whether the command is already there. It's a lengthy one. Yes. And this is the command which this is nothing but, as I already told you, so adding the Docker repo to the apt sources, right? So I'm just, yes, it is done. And now we are going to try to update apt get update. So once it is done, then we are going to straight away update the Docker, and of course, yes, here the command for updating Docker is lxc-docker, and please do not ask me why it is not libcontainer-docker. And this is the command which we are possibly in next versions, this command is going to be deprecated, and then the new command like libcontainer-docker may come. I don't know actually. So once it is done, then we are going to execute it like apt get install lxc-docker, right? Let us wait for this command to complete it successfully. It may not take much time. It depends upon the what version of Docker we are executing it, right? So I think that the apt get is now updated. Now we are going to execute straight away to apt-get install lxc-docker. See the version now? So I could see the version. It's 1.9.1. So it has been updated. Yeah, I'm going to say that. And then so once it is updated, we will see like using a version command, it is 1.9.1. So from 1.6.2 to 1.9.1, this is the latest version. So let us wait for the system to process, update the installation. Yes, it is completed. Now we are going to put the CLS and then docker-v. See 1.91, the latest version. Let us make a note of it here. It's 1.9.1. So this is the latest version, and this is the way we need to update it. And please make a note, the first two commands, there is no need for, first three commands, there is no need for you to update it again and again. The fourth command is important command, and before, always when you use apt-get to install any package, or you got to update the apt-get. That is industry's good practices. Okay, so I think the update command is now completed. We are going to swim through the Docker command directly. So, right. Now, let's see how to add the normal user to Docker privilege or elevate a normal Linux user as an Docker privileged user, right? So, I mean, before seeing this, what sort of privilege that this Docker admin need? Because it needs a root, right? Because we have seen it, I mean, in the previous videos, like Docker uses the kernel components such as C groups, namespace, and capabilities. In order to make the user as a Docker admin, you need to have a full root privilege for that particular user. So this is the bottom line. But there is one more point out here, right? Because Docker daemon listens on the local Linux socket called Docker sock. So normally this Docker sock, has a full privilege has been given it to a group called Docker. Okay, so we need to just add any normal user underneath this particular group called Docker. Then obviously that user becomes what you call the full privileged Docker admin access, correct? So let's see that in reality on our Ubuntu box. Like how to see this Docker sock is running. It is pretty simple. Just we logged in as let me verify who am I. I'm a local administrator. Sorry, I'm logged in as an administrator who has a root privilege for this machine. So now let's see cat-hc-group. There is a group called Docker, and then administrator is member of that group. So obviously administrator has got that full privilege of Docker, right? Now there is one other group, one other user in this machine called Vagrant. Okay, let us do one thing. Let us make that Vagrant as a Docker admin for this particular box, right? Right. So now we will check, like, because I was saying something like docker.sock. So how do you verify that? It is pretty simple, like, ls-l/run. See, I could see a pink color thing called docker.sock in the screen, and then see onto your left, extreme left, it is starts with the alphabet called S. Normally anything with starts with S in Linux file system, which is nothing but a socket, and then the next attribute is nothing but a root, I mean who has a full privilege for that, and then subsequent the next attribute is going to be the Docker. So Docker is nothing but a group, okay? So that group, we are going to put this Vagrant user as a member, so that Vagrant has got the full privilege for this Docker, right? So this is the pretty much simple process, and this is an straightforward Unix command, okay? So we are going to execute, I mean sudo g password, so Vagrant is the name of the user, and then I'm going to, I mean sudo -a is nothing but add, Vagrant is the username, on where the group name is Docker, right? Administrator privilege, right? So I think we have added it. So how to ensure that? Just go to concatenate /group. So now if you could see, Docker has got administrator as well as Vagrant. So let us log on as Vagrant and try to create a container, okay? Vagrant. Yes, who am I? Now I logged in as a Vagrant. I'm just clearing the screen. So let us create a container. It is simple, like a Docker. First time I think we are executing this. Docker run is the command. I is nothing but an interactive session, and then TT, assign a TTY for this, and then the image name is Ubuntu, and then /bin/bash. Bingo. So the container is already been running. Actually, I think I already created a container on this. See, it is now running. So which means the user has got privilege to create a container. So we created the first container now called the container ID. If you could see, EDB5005A4842. So this is the container which is running on top of the existing Linux, right? So I think this is the end of this section. I mean, let us see the other network related stuff in the next video. Until next time.